This channel is supported by TrueFire. TrueFire is an online library of lessons from some of my favourite players. There's thousands of lessons on there. You can use the promo code JNC40 to get 40% off of any of their courses. I think it's been almost a year since I bought some new gear in terms of guitars and stuff like that. I think July, I was looking through thumbnails and stuff, and July was about the last time that I bought guitar, the PRS SE hollow body thing. Yeah, it feels a little strange to me because there's some of these guitars which I kind of forgotten about. And I don't know if you're at all similar. Obviously, the gear part of this channel, I think, is a big part of what people, I don't know, stop by to check out, and whether they want to see some legato on a guitar or whatever. I don't know exactly what people are here for. But anyway, I kind of had a feeling that I needed to kind of churn through a certain amount of gear to keep interest. And I guess, I think that's probably a rational point of view. But actually, the things that I've done since pretty much kept a similar level of interest, and I don't know, let me know your thoughts in the comments if you've got any on that side of things. But what I quite like to do is actually borrow gear from friends, and in that way, you know, if you can reciprocate and they can borrow some gear of yours that they've been wanting to try, there's ways that you can sort of keep this kind of gas side of your brain in check a little bit. Because what I've found is I can play like a really beautiful guitar like Jake's Murphy Lab and really appreciate it for what it is, or Tony from up the road's PRS, but I don't actually have to own it. Do you know what I mean? Like, so sometimes with purchases that I've made, you get this kind of regret thing soon after, and I guess maybe that goes away if you have loads of money. But so that was kind of what I wanted to think about. So leading up to, and even after the baby being born, I was still buying quite a bit of gear. So I'm kind of just thinking about some of the bits and pieces that I bought. I bought the Epiphone Lazarus. I think that was shortly after borrowing Jake's Murphy Lab, and I thought, well, could we try something in that vein? I also bought for a second, which got returned because there was a fault with it, a Gibson R9 or R8, one of the two. Anyway, a lot of money, and very quickly I kind of looked at it side by side with my guitar and thought, like, it's not different enough to warrant existing. And luckily it had a fault, so it could just go back. Anyway, I'm considering still doing a video on that thing, whether that would be interesting or not, I'm not sure. But yeah, so sort of like a $4,000 guitar, and I put it up next to my 2002 Gibson, and I was like, I should probably spend this on nappies instead. I also bought then a Maybach Lester from For the Love of Guitar on the Fretboard forum, and that was a beautiful guitar actually. Really, really enjoyed that, and I think that was one of the best Les Pauls that I've played. Very lightweight, sounded great, well made. The only issue for me was that the colour of it wasn't quite right. I wanted to try a Maybach. I did get in touch with Maybach and see if they were up for doing something, but in the end I didn't pursue that. And actually I've found through kind of the process of going to sell my own Gibson Les Paul that probably for me it needs to say Gibson on it for it to feel right for whatever reason, and that one's fine for me. Especially top wrapping, it made a big difference as well actually. I bought a PRS McCarty SE because I had recently-ish, before buying this, bought a DGT SE, which I was really impressed with. So I wanted to try a McCarty. The McCarty was pretty good. I bought two of them actually. One got returned because there's a bit of fret missing. But I bought another because I thought, actually, let's give this a go. I thought that was a cool instrument, but actually out of the two guitars, the DGT felt more me, and I liked having the trem and stuff. So that McCarty SE I then sold on. I've sold on all of these guitars, by the way, and this is what has kind of made me think, this is strange. So I traded away a Mesa Boogie Mark III with a Gibson double cut red guitar. I don't like red guitars for some reason, so that one had to quickly move along. I really didn't feel anything with that guitar. I just thought it might be easier to sell than a Mark III amp, and it turned out probably not to be, but I did get rid of it eventually. I bought the Gibson Les Paul Greenie because I kind of wanted to see like how that stacked up. When I got it in my hands, that guitar actually looked and sounded really good. It was like over £10, but looked nice. Basically though, a Gibson faded with some upgraded pickups, and so I felt like actually this is a lot of money to sink into that guitar. If I was going to go for that vibe, I'd probably just get a Gibson faded and upgrade the pickups with some Montes or something. So I sold that one to a guy who I met at Bristol Services. A really nice guy, Gordano was the Services. I think that the last two things I think that I remember, I bought an Epiphone Pro which arrived with the nut kind of damaged, so that got returned. That was actually a pretty nice guitar, other than the breakage. And a Revstar Standard, because I wanted to do a video kind of comparing the Standard to the Japanese professional range. And I felt it compared really well, and then I sold that one on as well. So it's a bit of a... I don't miss any of these guitars, and honestly what I found, and I did some videos, and I think this is what's kind of shifted my mind, talking about somewhat this kind of gear fatigue thing, where not only, I guess, like you might be tired of seeing certain things and marketing and all of that stuff around guitars, but also for me, like the process of, you know, going through buying a piece of gear because you think that it's relevant or that it might add something, actually finding that, like Tom Bukovac said the other day, like the gear you already have is able to cope with anything you throw at it musically, pretty much, right? There wasn't lacking in gear, right? And so, I don't know, I just wanted to reflect on that. I have been demoing a few things that got sent my way, so like the Yamaha Pacifica Professional and Standard. Those were sort of loaned, and they said I could keep them if I liked them, I think, but I'm not entirely sure. Those are really great guitars, actually. I found myself really, more than anything, gravitating to this guitar, and I think that's a really good problem to have, where you've got a guitar that makes you forget about buying other guitars. And I've got a few of them, you know, like the blue K-line, this yellow K-line, and so yeah, it's a bit weird in some ways, because I guess it would be better for the for the channel to be jumping on to new releases and stuff like that a bit more, but I don't know, for some reason they are expensive as well, right? Guitars, even like the Epiphone inspired, like around sort of £1,200, and can I really justify dropping that kind of coin on a guitar that I'm kind of skeptical about? I don't know. I think my position on this has sort of changed a little bit. I don't know. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Yeah, money spent on nappies instead of guitars. Is that valid? Probably. I don't know. But yeah, I've got some actual pedal demos and bits and pieces coming up. So there is a bit of kind of promotional stuff, but less guitars in general. Jake's just bought a little pink jet telly that I might ask if I can borrow at some point. But yeah, I don't know. I haven't bought a guitar in a little bit of a while. I don't feel too bad about it.